Hi, my name is Laura Joy, and I am the Youth and Children's Director at Cedar Grove Baptist Church in Warsaw, Missouri. I post videos on a weekly basis to support parents, guardians, and mentors in discipling children and youth as they seek to understand who God is, why the Bible matters, and how that affects our lives. Today's content is focused on 6th through 12th graders, but it can be useful for all ages because we are continuing to learn how to study the Bible. I am by no means an expert on the Bible or on God's will, but I am somebody who loves digging into this amazing love letter that God wrote for us, the Bible. So let's get started. So for the last few weeks, we've been slowly working our way through the first chapter of the book of Hosea, from reading it out loud to writing down our reflections, and now we're digging deep. If you haven't already watched the other videos, I highly encourage you to check out the Learn to Study playlist on our church's YouTube page and the resources link in the description down below. Otherwise, we are going to pick up where we left off in chapter 1, verse 3. So he married Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son. So the first question that I wrote down from verse 3 is, how do I pronounce Diblaim? I went to Google for that answer and listened through close to 20 different websites and voices pronouncing this name. Shockingly, they pretty much all agreed. So in English, we would pronounce his name Diblaim, but in Hebrew, it would be pronounced closer to Divline. The second thing that I made note of was that the Bible specifies that Gomer bore him a son. Now, I think it's pretty safe to assume that the him here is Hosea. So Gomer bore Hosea a son. They had a kid together. I only noticed this and thought to make a note of it this time because I remember my youth pastor doing a series on the book of Hosea when I was a teenager. And he pointed out that kids number 2 and 3 in chapter 1, the Bible doesn't specify if they're Hoseas. They could be, they could not be. We just don't know. But does seem to make it pretty clear in verse 3 that the firstborn, Jezreel, was in fact Hosea's kid. Let's take a look at verse 4. Then the Lord said to Hosea, call him Jezreel, because I will soon punish the house of Jehu for the massacre at Jezreel, and I will put an end to the kingdom of Israel. Oof. Okay, so that's a lot. Let's start with the name Jezreel. Now, a lot of the times in the Old Testament, the Bible will give us the meaning behind names. So, like, Abraham means father of many nations, Isaac means to laugh, and Jacob means to follow. But the Bible doesn't give us the definition of Jezreel here. So, wanting to know what Jezreel's name means, I went to Google and said, what does Jezreel mean in Hebrew? Now, I did specify in Hebrew because sometimes words change their meaning based on the language. I don't know if Jezreel is one of those words, but I didn't want to take a chance. No. From the articles that popped up, I had my pick of the litter. I could have gone to thebump.com, which is a website full of baby names and their meanings. I could have gone to gotquestions.org, but I wanted something that was a little bit more research-based and a little bit more reliable looking. So where I ended up was BibleStudy.org. This website gave me quite a bit of information about Jezreel, including the people named Jezreel, the cities named Jezreel, links to the Strong's Concordance, which is a Bible study resource that helps you find verses based off of a specific word or topic, and a map to show me where the Valley of Jezreel and the city of Jezreel are located. There's some pretty cool information here, and it also thankfully gave me the meaning of Jezreel, which is God sows. I did get to thinking about why the meaning of the name Jezreel wasn't included in this verse. And I mean, obviously, there's no way for me to know for sure. I wasn't there. I didn't write this down. But if you look at the rest of verse 4, it says, because I will soon punish the house of Jehu for the massacre at Jezreel. The more I am looking into the meaning behind the name Jezreel and learning that there is a valley of Jezreel, the more I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what is this massacre that the house of Jehu is being punished for that happened in Jezreel? So I went back to that article on BibleStudies.org to see if it mentions a massacre, and I learned that there are a lot of battles that happen in the valley of Jezreel. Wow. So in Judges 4 and 5, Deborah, the only female judge that we know about in the Old Testament, she led an army against Sisera. And then in Judges 6 and 7, Gideon, who led an army of 300 into battle, which if you have not read that story, please go read it. Oh my goodness. Oh, God's so cool. And then 1 Samuel 31 and 2 Samuel 1 tell us about King Saul and his sons' deaths, and they were in battle overlooking the Valley of Jezreel. And those are just three of the many battles that have happened in the Valley of Jezreel. But I still wasn't seeing anything about a massacre, so I had to keep digging. So my next step was Bible Gateway to see if there was maybe a note or a subscript next to verse 4 that would give me some context, but there wasn't. So then I went to Bible Hub to try to cross-reference and see, if there's Valley of Jezreel, if there's a massacre that it finds somewhere else in the Bible. And now I'm really confused. So 2 Kings chapter 10, verse 11 says, "So Jehu killed everyone in Jezreel who remained of the house of Ahab, as well as all of his great men and close friends and priests, leaving him without a single survivor." And then 2 Kings chapter 10, verse 30 says, "Nevertheless, the Lord said to Jehu, because you have done well in carrying out what is right in my sight, and have done to the house of Ahab all that was in my heart, 4 generations of your sons will sit on the throne of Israel." Okay, so it seems to me like God is rewarding and praising Jehu for, massacring King Ahab and all of his men. So why is God now punishing the house of Jehu for this massacre? So I decided to read the entire chapter of 2 Kings chapter 10, and Jehu did a lot. But, all of it seemed like it was with God's blessing. So he did all of those things that God specifically said, you did all the things that were in my heart to do. And then he went after eliminating Baal worship and is actually credited with eliminating Baal worship in the entire nation. And he tricked all of the prophets and priests of Baal to come to one location so that they could be eliminated right then and there. Like, he was a smart guy. And I'm really confused because it seems like that's what God was telling him to do. My confusion was furthered when I really made the connection that Jehu is not one of the kings mentioned in verse 1 that we read all of these stories about. Jeroboam is the only king of Israel that's mentioned there. And Jeroboam was the first king of Israel, and Jehu was the 10th king of Israel, and they're not related at all. So what on earth? I'm so confused. Jehu is... there's 9 kings there between... I don't understand. After a lot more confusion and a lot more searching, I found this chart that shows all the kings of Israel and all of the kings of Judah in order. And I finally started clicking with me where I might have gone wrong. And most importantly, I read the wrong King Jeroboam story. The first king of Israel, Jeroboam, he was not alive at the same time as Uzziah and Jotham and Ahaz and Hezekiah. So I had the wrong Jeroboam. The right Jeroboam was in fact alive while those kings were alive, and his story is found in 2 Kings chapter 14, verses 23 through 29. So I am fixing that in my notes now, and hopefully I will find some more answers as I continue to try to unconfuse myself so that next week maybe we're both not confused anymore. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it helped answer some of your questions about how to study the Bible and helps you to feel empowered to study on your own. If studying the Bible is something that you already enjoy, hopefully you learned something new today, or at the very least learned that you're not the only one who's going to be confused sometimes. My goal is simply to encourage you in your walk with Jesus as you seek to get an even better understanding of who he is and how much he loves you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can email our church pastors at cgbc@live.com, or you can email me directly at lhillcgbc@gmail.com. We would love to know how we can be praying for you, and we would love to see you on a Wednesday night at 6:15 p.m. for a free meal and relationship building, as well as a 7 p.m. Bible study. On Sunday mornings, we offer worship services at 8:30 a.m. and 11 a.m., as well as a small group Bible study for all ages from 9:45 to 10:45 a.m. If you are not already subscribed and you would like to get an alert anytime a new youth or children's video pops up or one of our Sunday services goes live, please do not hesitate to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you have any additional comments that you want to offer or insights into the book of Hosea, or if you have a topic that you want us to try to cover in the future, please leave those in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Bye.